So I was very excited to be able to run the DMR this weekend. I was in the 1200 and I haven't run a 1200 since high school, so I really wasn't sure kind of pace-wise what I could do or even just how the distance felt. So I went out. There's a BC girl who's kind of far ahead, so I just let her go. And then I was kind of on my own for most of the race, and I just kept looking at my splits and just kept trying to hit consistent paces, and it worked out really well. I'm pretty happy. Being seated 13th, we know we have to, run a little faster, so we'll probably end up doing that later on. But just knowing how many Stonehill DMRs have gone to nationals, we don't want to be the first team in however many years to not go. And I think that the group we have, we're just getting better each week. So I think that we can definitely improve on our time and get to go. It's a great group of girls. I mean, we're still switching people around to see who's the best fit in certain spots, but the depth we have is pretty great. Coach just keeps telling us that we're ready to compete, and we've done so much strength work, and I think that is partially why this weekend went so well for me. I don't think I've ever tripled in my life before, and to be able to come back with the DMR Friday and run well, mile Saturday morning in PR, and then run a pretty solid split in the 4x8 later that day, it's just a testament to all the training that she's been giving us. And she always tells us, when you have a really hard workout, put it in your pocket and pull it out for tough races and tough meets, and I think we're all able to do that now.
We got second, and it was kind of weird because there was a really large gap between us and BC, who was in front of us, and then a large gap between us and the third team. I don't remember who it was, but so basically we were alone, all of our legs, we were all alone the entire time, so it was really hard to just stay mentally engaged, but we all pulled through and managed to get out a provisionally qualifying time, which was what we wanted in the first place. Well, last year I didn't really know what to expect when we ran the DMR and then qualified for nationals, but I think after experiencing it, it makes me want to go back again, and I think since 3 of us on the relay are back on the relay this year, so we all know what it's like to be at a national championship, and that's basically just what we're striving for now. Well, basically, she told us that they take top 12, and since we're 13th right now, we definitely need to run again another time so it'll stick and then we can get in. But I don't know, I guess us being so close kind of motivates us to just keep pushing so that we can finally get in and be comfortable with our position. Because right now we're not so comfortable because we don't really know what teams are going to choose to actually run that have qualified. So we could get in and we couldn't with our time right now.
So I think going into a championship season, it's definitely getting a lot more intense. And in the beginning of the season, it's easy to come out and say that you have certain goals and certain things you want to achieve. But then once you start getting, further into the season, you realize that those goals that you set in the beginning are actually something that are kind of coming to the time that you should be achieving them. And that certainly makes practice more intense, and going into championship season and, all the goals that we have in regards to that with conferences or with nationals, it's kind of coming to the point where we really have to be on our A game and, be focusing and every day and just kind of every aspect of our life, and making sure that not only are we practicing hard, but we're getting enough sleep and we're eating well, and just making sure that everything's fine-tuned to peak when we need to. It was definitely difficult to kind of figure out the race given that we were all by ourselves, but I think one thing that at least helped me the most was that the rest of our teammates who weren't competing at the time lined the whole track, and especially the back curve, which is usually pretty silent, and definitely hearing their cheers helped a lot given that I mean, I couldn't see the BC team when it was my leg, and I tried to imagine someone's close behind me, but it didn't seem like that. So definitely all of our non-competing teammates helped a lot in pushing us. It's tough, definitely, because I think last year it was different because we had two people who were training with us that had been there before and really led us through that process. And now it's different because we don't have them, but having that the three of us have been there already, we really have that fire to go back. So we're just focusing all our energy on that and trying to each individually get better so that we can have a better relay as a whole, and pushing each other every day and holding each other accountable for what we're doing and what we want to achieve.
It's really exciting because I know a lot of really good teams are in the NE10 and run great relays. The 4x8 has gotten it a few times, and they're all really fast, obviously. So yeah, it's just an honor. I think the NE10 is a really good conference, so any award within the conference, I'm happy to get it. I think going to nationals one time makes it seem like a more achievable goal. Still something that's very hard to work for and still a great achievement, but definitely more attainable. And that makes it a little bit more comforting going into races when you're trying to qualify, knowing that you've done it before and that it's within reach. And it makes it a little bit less nerve-wracking, but you still know what kind of effort it's going to take to get you there. It's going to take a very large effort from everybody, and we all have to work together, and we all have to try our hardest in order to get that qualifying mark. It was definitely hard running alone because, I don't know, we end up running alone a lot, but it's usually, like last time we ran it, we were running alone in the lead, and this time we were running alone in second. And it's always hard no matter what because you get a little distracted, but I was just trying. I knew I had an idea that that would probably happen, so I was just trying to focus on a few little things that I could work on, like getting out really aggressively, which is something I always struggle with. So I think that was one of my best starts that I've had this season. So I worked on that, and then after the start, I just tried to, I tried to look at the girl that was in first, but I couldn't really even see her. So I just was thinking about what we were trying to do, and I heard Coach Bowen yell, like, make this worth something, so, or remember what you're trying to do. I think I heard her yell both things, but yeah, so that's just what I was thinking in my head as I was running. Individually, I definitely want to PR and run a 56 in the open. I've run a 55 in the DMR, and I would like to first off run that again in the DMR to help us further our chances of qualifying, and I would like to also do that in the open. At conference would be great so that I could score high points for the team. And I think the team as a whole, we're looking really great, where after last weekend we had a lot of really strong performances, and I think NE10s is coming up, and everybody always just comes together for NE10s and really puts the team on the back, really, and comes out and performs their best. It always happens. Everybody just comes together, so I'm really excited for NE10s.